I know we already had a state of the skits for October, but I didn't realize how quick my notes built up for the next one. So why wait? I also don't believe in there being such a thing as too much talking to your fans. So let's just jump into it. One thing that I have listed here that I've wanted to talk about for a long time, and someone brought it up the other day in the comment section. They said, do you ever take a vacation? And what I always wanted to talk about was the fact that I upload every day, 3 times a day. Look, this thing that I do every day, it's not a regular job. It's a privilege to be in front of the camera. It's an earned privilege, but a privilege nonetheless. And I always want to make sure that when I go to bed at night, I earned being here, if that makes sense. So I work very hard. I work through sicknesses. And I'm very, 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 very hard on myself. If I film 2 videos in a day, I beat myself up over it. I know that's silly, but that's just my work ethic. That's how it's always been in terms of, even before this, when I was a writer, freelance writer for clients, I pushed myself very hard. And I just always want to feel like I got to the place that I'm at through not suffering, but just working my butt off. But the real reason that I post every day is because, before I met my wife, before I got my degree and found happiness, it's funny because the other day, my sister was looking through old pictures of me, and she said, man, you really never learned how to smile until you met Amanda. So yeah, before I met her and before I graduated and all that, dark time for me. I suffered a loss, personal loss, and I spiraled pretty quickly and isolated myself and stuff. And I remember there was this one New Year's Eve where I was on the bus coming home from work, and it was just me, and I was by myself, and it sucked, but kind of my fault because of the stuff I was going through mentally. And the bus driver wished me a happy New Year's. And those periods of time, like New Year's, holidays, things like that, they always felt different because everyone else was celebrating, everyone else was happy, and the world kind of shuts down during those times. You know what I mean? Like from Christmas to New Year's Eve, nothing is normal. And I hated that. Shows go off the air, everyone takes a break, and you're just left with you. So I know it's corny, but the reason that I post every day is because I know there's people out there who might be going through something like that, where the only thing normal to them, and it's crazy to say, the only thing normal to them is my 3 uploads that day. And if I take off Christmas and they're by themselves and they look for an episode and they're like, oh, even he took off, even he left me alone, that's the way I see it. Because I don't know, that's a little dark, right? I just know that when we as humans go through bad things in our life, we gravitate towards the things that are normal to us, that we do routinely. And even when those things aren't there, it can add an extra sadness to your day. Like if you got fired and you wanted to go watch Wheel of Fortune and it's not on. Maybe it's insignificant to someone else, but to you, oh, another thing that's different this day. Hope that wasn't too sappy. It was just something I had to get off my chest because, I felt that ever since I started to develop an audience who, they care about the content. And I do care back, Next thing I have on here is, how Miranda's mother has been a little, I wouldn't say fully toxic, but she's had some strong opinions. It always amazes me how quick you guys are to cut family off. Like you were ready to cut her out. You were ready to tell Miranda, get rid of her. And I just wonder, is it easy for you guys to do that? Like for actual family members? Because if my wife had a toxic family member, it would take a long time for her to get rid of them. You know what I mean? Next thing I have on here is Miranda and Brian arguing. I just like how you guys are divided on who you root for. and that's how it should be, because both of them come with their own stance. They both have an opinion on something, and instead of the way Miranda and Joey were, where Joey was always just with his toxic stuff, I think Miranda and Brian bring a more balanced way of arguing, if that makes sense. Both genuinely have problems that people have, and if you can relate to them, that's the point. When my wife and I had our son, my wife says it all the time, her postpartum phase was, she wishes she could do it over, because it was very hard on her. And that was probably the most that we've ever had conflict. You know, we were both very on edge. And I think Miranda's and Brian's relationship mimics that, in the sense that their relationship is so strong, but the postpartum phase really took a toll on them. I remember my wife was telling me the other day that she was talking to someone who was just had a baby, and she was listing all these things that she was going through, and I told my wife, like, wow, like Miranda, the next one of these episodes with Miranda are exactly everything that she's going through, and that made me feel good. I know some of those episodes are heavy, but you know, I always have an intent that if anyone's going through something Miranda's going through, they can feel a little less alone, seeing her go through it and kind of overcome it. So yeah. Another thing that surprised me, it always surprises me, is when people ask for Melissa back. That's absolutely nuts to me. I think when you ask for her back, I think we have to remember what it was like to have her. My cousin once told me that when it comes to Melissa, I created someone similar to King Joffrey for any Game of Thrones fans. So yeah, I don't know where Melissa's. She's in jail right now, so I don't know. Who knows what the future holds for Melissa? We shall see. This one was a refreshing thing to hear. Another surprising thing to hear. Someone said Miranda's pregnancy was too short. I remember when Melissa was pregnant, the consensus was it was going on forever. And at times I felt that way too. But with Melissa's pregnancy, I did want it to be a more realistic time frame without going the full 9 months. I wanted Melissa to experience everything in pregnancy, but through her eyes. Does that make sense? Like, you got to experience pregnancy through Melissa in her toxic way. Miranda's, I know some of you know that she didn't have a countdown clock. And it was sped up because I think creatively for Miranda that was the best route. It's not a lot of bad things happened in her pregnancy, so we don't need to see her go to a normal prenatal, if that makes sense. With Melissa, every single thing from booking an appointment to the glucose test to whatever else, that became a whole thing, which was fun. It was fun because my wife dealt with a lot of rude sonogram texts, so seeing Melissa bug out from time to time, it was cathartic. Do you want to know a secret? You might get mad at yourselves. You might try to do a witch hunt to find out who left the comment, because one of the few times that I've ever taken inspiration from the fans, like seen an idea and said, I like that. Let me go with that. You ready? Vanishing twin syndrome. That came from you. So if you were ever annoyed by how many times Melissa said vanishing twin syndrome, it was one of you. Alright, next thing I'm going to address is someone said they wanted to see bloopers. You don't want to see bloopers. You don't want to see bloopers because they're very boring. Going back to how I film every day and script all not all day, but every day. When I have a blooper, it really is just me saying a sentence over and over and over again. And you'd be surprised that it's literally some of the shortest sentences always have to be resaid. Like, you know, like, you can see us all scripted here. Brian says, "What are you talking about?" Sometimes a line just like that, I have to say it a million times for it to just come out right. I can't explain it. Not complaining. That's just my work ethic. That's just what I do to myself, you know. But yeah, that's why I don't do bloopers. It's just, they're not fun to watch. There's nothing silly about them. I have two more things to say. You know, I do read comments more now. And I wish I could respond to all the kind things. I really do. And I don't want you to think that I don't see them. I do. I try not to intake a lot of that because you don't want to get caught up with your own ego or anything. But I do appreciate those who have those heavy stories where they started watching me in the hospital or something. And, you know, I screenshot stuff. I save stuff. And, yeah. So, last thing I'll say is that I do want to live stream. I think it would be fun. I've thought about that for 2 years, but I don't have any idea what to live stream. I guess Q&A and stuff, but you know, if you guys have any ideas for live streams, I will take them into consideration. I've seen some people comment that they want that. I'm open to it. I would love to have like a weekly, like, oh, Joey's going live Sunday, you know. I would love to make that an every week thing. That doesn't mean less videos, don't worry. I also saw some of you want the schedule posted again from YouTube. Like the rundown of the upcoming schedule. I didn't think you guys liked that, but I guess you did, so I will post that weekly again, or at least try to. Again, I give myself more work, but sometimes it's difficult to remember, oh, don't forget the screenshots of the upcoming videos. Posting the videos takes a long time too. Like when I post them into Facebook, it takes 10 minutes per video to upload, I guess because they're longer. Then I have to schedule them into Patreon and edit them down for TikTok, and it's, you know, it's a little extra work. That's why I sometimes forget to put the schedule up, if that makes sense. Alright, that's it for the State of the Skits this time. I should see you season finale. So, as always, thanks for watching.